Dr. Michael Greger, a board-certified physician in internal medicine and a fellow of the American College of Lifestyle Medicine, with over 2 decades of experience researching evidence-based nutrition, believes that healthy legs in later life aren't just about exercise or aging gracefully. According to the American Doctor, recurring leg cramps and muscle tightness in seniors often reflect subtle but chronic nutritional deficiencies, especially in minerals and micronutrients that support proper muscle contraction and nerve signaling. Forget the pain creams and foot massages. Dr. Greger says, if your muscles are screaming at night, it's not age, it's missing nutrients. He explains that while age may slow down absorption, the root cause of leg cramps is often related to low magnesium, potassium, calcium, and B vitamins nutrients essential for muscle relaxation and neuromuscular coordination, especially during sleep. Dr. Greger emphasizes that a few dietary adjustments, particularly in the evening, can reduce nighttime cramps, improve balance, and even enhance morning energy levels. It's not about eating more, it's about eating smarter, he adds. The foods you choose before bed can either disrupt your recovery or help your legs reset. In his clinical observations and research summaries, Dr. Greger highlights 5 everyday foods that are rich in muscle-supporting minerals, anti-inflammatory compounds, and key cofactors that help muscles contract and relax properly. These foods aren't exotic or expensive. They're practical, plant-forward, and easily digestible, even for aging digestive systems. For older adults struggling with leg fatigue, tension, or painful nighttime cramps, Dr. Greger recommends looking not at the medicine cabinet, but at the dinner plate. Best food, number 1, spinach, the leaf that helps muscles. Listen again. Spinach isn't considered a special vegetable on the daily plate. But for the aging body, it is one of the key signal leaves that helps restore communication between the nervous system and muscle tissue, especially during sleep when leg cramps tend to occur most frequently. Spinach contains notably high levels of magnesium, potassium, and calcium, 3 minerals that function as a trio of safety switches controlling the contraction and relaxation of muscle cells. Every time the body needs to contract a muscle, calcium is released into the muscle cell. But in order for that muscle to relax again, magnesium must be present to push calcium back out. Without enough magnesium, the relaxation phase remains incomplete, causing the muscle to stay contracted, resulting in that sharp cramp or prolonged tightness. This is why spinach, rich in magnesium in a highly absorbable form, can be seen as the off switch for muscle activity, activating at the right moment. At night, when muscle recovery takes place, magnesium also helps suppress excess nerve excitability. In aging adults, stress, poor diet, and medications may deplete magnesium reserves, making nighttime cramps more likely. Spinach provides a gentle, natural way to restore those levels without overloading the system. It supports GABA function in the brain and peripheral nerves, allowing muscles to rest fully. In addition, potassium in spinach plays a critical role in maintaining the electrical potential across muscle cell membranes. In other words, it acts as a kind of biological insulation, ensuring that the electrical signal from nerves reaches muscle fibers without interference. When potassium is deficient, that signal becomes unstable, leading to twitching, uncoordinated contractions, or lingering fatigue after movement. This becomes especially relevant at night, when electrolyte levels shift naturally with circadian rhythms and tissue repair begins. Potassium also helps regulate fluid balance within the cell, keeping muscle fibers well hydrated and flexible. Calcium in spinach plays a smaller role in this context, but works in tandem with the others to ensure muscles respond appropriately to voluntary movement. Beyond its role in neuromuscular signaling, spinach also contains powerful antioxidants like lutein, zeaxanthin, and vitamin C. These compounds protect the outer membrane of muscle cells from free radical damage generated during normal mitochondrial respiration. If not neutralized, these reactive species can promote low-grade inflammation in muscle tissue, making muscles more sensitive to pain, fatigue, and cramping. Just as important, spinach is a vegetable that's easy to prepare, easy to digest, and unlikely to cause stomach discomfort. It also has a low glycemic load, meaning it won't cause sudden spikes in blood sugar, a major concern for older adults with prediabetes or insulin resistance. That makes it particularly suitable for the evening meal, when digestion slows and heavy foods can become counterproductive. The best way to use spinach is lightly cooked, stir-fried with a touch of olive oil, steamed gently, or added to a mild soup. Avoid overboiling, which can leach minerals into the water. Pairing it with a vitamin C-rich ingredient like lemon juice can also enhance mineral absorption, especially iron and magnesium. When consumed regularly, many older adults report that muscle tightness in the calves becomes less frequent. Nighttime cramps gradually fade, and the act of standing up or moving after rest feels smoother and more stable. These are not dramatic changes, but they are deeply biological. They signal that the body is receiving the nutrients it needs to restore its internal rhythms. No large portion is needed. Just a small serving of spinach at dinner, gently sautéed, lightly boiled, or added to soup can be enough to tell the body, the materials for rest and repair have arrived. You can now let go. Once the muscles are given the minerals to relax, the next step is repairing how they receive instructions. Best food, number 2. Greek yogurt, a quiet supporter of nighttime muscle balance. Greek yogurt is often seen as a breakfast food or a snack, but its biological role goes far beyond nutrition. For seniors experiencing nighttime cramps, this simple, cultured dairy product offers a specific kind of support, one that operates through calcium, magnesium, vitamin B12, and gut-brain signaling pathways, all working together to stabilize muscle activity while you sleep. Calcium is often associated with bone health, but in reality, it is a key driver of muscle contraction. Every time a muscle fiber receives a signal to contract, calcium ions are released from internal stores and bind to specialized proteins inside the cell, initiating a series of changes that cause the muscle to shorten. Without enough calcium, this process becomes inefficient. But calcium must also be finely regulated, because excessive or mistimed calcium influx can trigger involuntary contractions or prolong a muscle's tension state, both of which contribute to nighttime cramping. Greek yogurt delivers calcium in a bioavailable, buffered form, absorbed steadily without spiking blood calcium levels. This slow-release profile makes it particularly suited to evening consumption. Magnesium, also present in Greek yogurt, plays the opposite role. While calcium initiates contraction, magnesium enables release. It acts like a natural brake, helping the muscle return to its resting state. Together, calcium and magnesium form a paired control system, balancing each other at every stage of the contraction cycle. The ideal ratio of these minerals in Greek yogurt supports this biological rhythm without overwhelming digestion, something essential for older adults, whose enzymatic activity may be lower at night. Vitamin B12 adds a second layer of benefit. This nutrient is essential for the maintenance of myelin, the protective sheath that surrounds motor neurons. Without adequate B12 signal transmission from the brain and spinal cord to the muscles becomes sluggish or distorted. This doesn't just affect coordination, it also increases the chance of misfiring muscle signals during sleep. Greek yogurt is one of the few food sources that reliably supplies B12 in a highly absorbable form, especially important for seniors with reduced stomach acid, which limits B12 uptake from other foods. In addition to its mineral and vitamin profile, Greek yogurt contains probiotic bacteria that indirectly support neuromuscular health. These microorganisms help regulate the gut environment, reduce systemic inflammation, and may influence neurotransmitter production factors increasingly recognized in the science of sleep and muscle recovery. A healthy gut is better able to absorb micronutrients, reducing the risk of deficiencies that silently disrupt nighttime muscle stability. Greek yogurt is also low in lactose compared to regular yogurt, making it easier to digest for those with mild intolerance. Its high protein content provides amino acids needed for tissue repair, particularly after daily use of leg muscles. Because it digests slowly, it provides a steady stream of nutrients during the hours when your body is most focused on recovery. For best results, Greek yogurt should be eaten in the early evening, a few hours before bed. A plain, unsweetened variety is ideal, avoiding added sugars that could interfere with sleep or blood sugar regulation. It can be paired with a small portion of berries or chia seeds to enhance taste and antioxidant content without altering its metabolic impact. When included as part of a calm, mineral-rich evening routine, Greek yogurt can gradually reduce the frequency of nighttime cramps, improve muscle relaxation, and support more stable sleep cycles. Over time, many older adults report not just fewer cramps, but a general sense of ease in their legs the next morning, as if something inside has begun to cooperate again. Now that communication is restored, it's time to rebuild structure and energy from deep within each muscle cell. Best food, Number 3 Salmon. The evening fuel that reboots cellular coordination. Salmon is often praised for its protein and omega-3s. But for seniors experiencing muscle cramps or morning stiffness, its value lies deeper in the way it supports neuromuscular regulation, inflammation control, and cellular energy recovery during the night. When eaten in the right context, salmon helps restore the body's quiet ability to move, reset, and respond. At the heart of this process are two omega-3 fatty acids, EPA and DHA. These compounds integrate directly into cell membranes, making them more fluid, more responsive, and more resilient to stress. In muscle cells, this flexibility is critical. When membranes are rigid due to aging or a diet high in omega-6 fats, signals from nerves become delayed or distorted. By improving membrane fluidity, EPA and DHA enhance the precision and speed of neuromuscular communication, allowing muscles to contract and release with less strain. DHA also plays a direct role in protecting motor neurons, particularly in the spinal cord and peripheral nerves. It maintains the structural integrity of synapses and may reduce the risk of signal misfires that can cause nighttime twitching or cramping. EPA, meanwhile, acts as a natural modulator of inflammation, helping to reduce the silent irritation around nerve endings and muscle fibers that accumulates over years. This combination doesn't act like a painkiller. It works more subtly, by helping the system become less reactive. Salmon is also a natural source of vitamin D, which is critical for regulating calcium channels in muscle cells. Without enough vitamin D, calcium may not enter or exit the cell properly, increasing the likelihood of muscle stiffness or involuntary contraction. Unlike supplements, the vitamin D in salmon is bound to fat, which enhances absorption and mirrors the way the body expects to receive it. In parallel, vitamin B12 in salmon supports the repair and maintenance of the myelin sheath, much like in Greek yogurt, preserving the clarity of nerve signals from brain to muscle. For older adults with subclinical B12 deficiency, even minor improvements in transmission speed can reduce the likelihood of nighttime cramps or coordination lapses. Salmon also contains coenzyme Q10, CoQ10, a molecule that supports energy production inside mitochondria. These power stations inside muscle fibers require a constant stream of oxygen and nutrients to generate ATP, the fuel that allows muscles to move. During aging, Mitochondrial output tends to decline, and CoQ10 levels fall. By replenishing this molecule through food, rather than pills, the body is more likely to incorporate and use it effectively. This may explain why some older adults feel more stable, more mobile, and less sore when they incorporate fatty fish like salmon a few times a week. In practical terms, salmon is easy to prepare and relatively easy to digest. A portion of 100–120 grams, baked or gently pan-seared, is sufficient. It can be served with leafy greens or steamed vegetables for additional magnesium and potassium support. Because of its fat content, salmon also helps prolong satiety overnight, reducing fluctuations in blood sugar that may affect sleep or muscle control. The best time to consume salmon for neuromuscular benefit is during the evening meal, 2 to 3 times per week. No need to overconsume. The goal is not volume, but timing and consistency, providing your cells with what they need at the moment they begin repair. Many older patients describe the effects not as dramatic, but as quiet improvements, less tightness in the calves when waking, fewer jolts in the night, and a more balanced feeling when walking after rest. Salmon does not override the body, it reminds it. One quiet meal at a time. It helps restore the soft rhythms of movement that aging often dulls. With strength returning at the cellular level, let's turn to the fruit that stabilizes the signals guiding those cells. Best food number 4: banana. The simple fruit that restores electrical balance. For many older adults, bananas are familiar, easy to digest, and often seen as a safe, convenient fruit. But biologically, their benefit goes far beyond simplicity. Bananas support one of the most critical systems behind nighttime muscle function, the regulation of cellular electricity. At the core of every muscle contraction is a subtle electrical event. A nerve sends a signal to a muscle fiber. The fiber opens ion channels, and the cell's charge shifts, triggering motion. This entire sequence depends on the careful movement of charged minerals, particularly potassium and magnesium. Bananas are rich in both, and they deliver these nutrients in a natural ratio that mirrors what human cells use to maintain resting potential and controlled contraction. Potassium, the primary electrolyte in bananas, stabilizes the membrane voltage of muscle and nerve cells. It helps prevent overexcitation, keeping the cell calm until a true signal arrives. When potassium levels are low, muscle membranes may misfire, either contracting spontaneously or failing to release after a contraction. These misfires can manifest as twitching, cramps, or a vague sense of muscle tightness that worsens at night. Magnesium complements this by supporting calcium channel regulation. While calcium allows a muscle to contract, magnesium is needed to turn that contraction off. Without enough magnesium, calcium may remain active inside the cell longer than intended, another trigger for cramping. Bananas, though not the richest source of magnesium, provide enough in context to support balance, particularly when eaten alongside other magnesium-rich foods. Bananas also support glucose uptake in muscle cells, which is critical for older adults with insulin resistance or fluctuating blood sugar levels. Stable glucose access helps maintain energy availability inside muscle fibers, especially during sleep, when most recovery and ion transport activity takes place. A moderate dose of fruit sugar delivered with fiber and potassium can act as a gentle energy carrier, keeping the muscles nourished without overstimulating insulin. Additionally, bananas contain vitamin B6, a coenzyme involved in neurotransmitter synthesis, including GABA and serotonin. These compounds influence muscle tone, nerve relaxation, and sleep quality. Though small in quantity, the B6 in bananas can contribute to overall neuromuscular calm, especially in those with marginal deficiencies. Bananas also offer prebiotic fibers, which serve as food for beneficial gut bacteria. A healthy microbiome is increasingly recognized as a co-regulator of inflammation, neurotransmitter production, and mineral absorption, all essential for muscle health. In this way, bananas quietly support multiple layers of the system that governs how muscles respond to input, stress, and rest. Timing matters. A small banana eaten in the early evening, ideally 1 to 2 hours before bedtime, can help supply potassium, support hydration, and assist with overnight muscle recovery. For those with blood sugar concerns, pairing the banana with a tablespoon of nut butter or a spoonful of plain yogurt may slow glucose absorption and increase nutrient synergy. It's important not to mistake bananas as a standalone solution. Their power lies in complementing other mineral-rich foods and stabilizing the background conditions in which muscle cells operate. When used this way, as part of a steady evening routine, they can help reduce the frequency of nighttime cramps, minimize muscle tightness upon waking, and improve the smoothness of movement through the next day. Most of the time, their effect is not dramatic. But in the language of biology, even small shifts in electrical stability can change how a muscle behaves overnight. For aging bodies, this means less interruption, more comfort, and fewer surprises at 3 a.m. One fruit, at the right time. In the right context, sometimes that's all it takes to help the body remember how to rest. As the electrical system quiets and steadies, the final touch is restoring energy reserves and antioxidant defense overnight. Best food number 5, pumpkin seeds. A compact source of muscle-stabilizing signals. Pumpkin seeds are small, often overlooked, and easy to consume in handfuls. But behind their simplicity lies a dense concentration of nutrients that are highly relevant to the muscle cramping patterns experienced by older adults, especially at night. Their value comes not from any single compound, but from a constellation of minerals, antioxidants, and cofactors that work together to restore cellular stability. The most notable of these is magnesium. Pumpkin seeds are one of the richest whole food sources of magnesium, a mineral that plays a direct role in controlling muscle contraction and relaxation. Magnesium acts as a gatekeeper for calcium channels in muscle fibers. It ensures that calcium enters at the right time, and just as importantly, exits when the contraction is complete. Without sufficient magnesium, calcium can linger inside the cell, maintaining tension and triggering the kind of prolonged, involuntary contraction commonly felt as a cramp. In addition to its role in calcium regulation, magnesium supports the function of ATP, the body's main energy molecule. ATP must bind to magnesium to become biologically active. This interaction is essential for muscle cells to generate and release energy properly. When magnesium is deficient, even if energy is available, muscle fibers may not be able to access or apply it efficiently, leading to fatigue and impaired relaxation. Pumpkin seeds also contain zinc, another critical mineral in neuromuscular communication. Zinc supports enzyme systems involved in the transmission of signals across nerve endings and helps maintain the structural integrity of muscle tissue. While often discussed in the context of immunity, zinc also contributes to electrical stability at the cellular level, particularly in systems that rely on fast, repetitive signaling, such as the calf and foot muscles, which are most prone to cramping during sleep. Together, magnesium and zinc influence both the input and output sides of the muscle equation, receiving the signal from the nervous system and executing the contraction-relaxation cycle in a controlled manner. Pumpkin seeds are also rich in antioxidants, including vitamin E and phenolic compounds. These molecules neutralize free radicals that accumulate in tissues under oxidative stress. In aging muscle, even mild oxidative damage can make membranes more irritable, more likely to misfire, or overreact to normal electrical input. By reducing oxidative load, pumpkin seeds help maintain calm, responsive tissue tone. In addition, pumpkin seeds offer healthy plant fats, which assist in the absorption of fat-soluble nutrients and provide a steady, low glycemic energy source during sleep. Unlike sugary snacks or heavy proteins, the fat profile of pumpkin seeds does not spike insulin, making them a more stable option for evening use, particularly in adults managing metabolic conditions. The real advantage of pumpkin seeds lies in how compact and concentrated they are. Just 1 to 2 tablespoons can deliver a meaningful dose of magnesium and zinc without adding excessive volume or strain on digestion. They require no preparation, can be eaten raw or lightly roasted, and are easy to combine with yogurt, oatmeal, or steamed vegetables. For evening use, they are best consumed 1 to 2 hours before bed, either alone or paired with a food that contains some protein or probiotics, such as unsweetened Greek yogurt. This pairing enhances mineral bioavailability and contributes to a calm digestive environment important for uninterrupted recovery during the night. When used consistently, as part of a nighttime routine, pumpkin seeds may help reduce the frequency of nighttime cramps, stabilize electrical signaling within muscle cells, and improve the ease of early morning movement. These effects are not immediate or dramatic, but they are steady, cellular, and cumulative. Sometimes, it's not about correcting a deficiency. It's about quietly restoring a rhythm the body once knew, using food that matches the signals we were designed to understand. Many older adults assume that leg cramps, morning stiffness, or a gradual sense of weakness are simply signs of aging. But from a biological standpoint, these symptoms are often not the result of wear and tear. They are signals of disrupted neuromuscular communication, triggered by quiet, cumulative deficiencies in minerals, vitamins, and cellular energy during the night. If left unaddressed, the body begins to cycle through incomplete recovery. Muscles remain tight, nerve responses slow down, and sleep becomes fragmented by nighttime cramping. Over time, confidence in movement decreases. People become more sedentary, and that loss of mobility feeds into a downward spiral of muscle loss, poor metabolism, and reduced independence. What few people realize is that the signals for healthy muscle function don't begin in the legs. They begin with potassium and magnesium levels, with how much B12 is available in the neurons, with the health of mitochondria, with whether free radicals have been cleared overnight. And correcting these signals doesn't require medication. It requires food that speaks the right biological language, delivered at the right time. Each of the 5 foods presented in this guide plays a specific role in rebuilding the neuromuscular framework. Spinach brings magnesium, the mineral that unlocks muscle relaxation. Greek yogurt delivers B12 to restore nerve communication. Salmon rebuilds the membrane architecture and recharges mitochondrial energy. Banana stabilizes membrane voltage. Pumpkin seeds reload ATP and control calcium flow. When these signals align, previously disconnected parts of the body begin to respond together. There is no need for drastic changes. Simply choose 2 or 3 of these 5 foods and incorporate them into your evening routine, at least 3 to 4 times per week. Prepare them lightly, keep portions gentle, and aim to consume them 1 to 2 hours before bed. Pay attention over the first 10 to 14 days how your calves feel in the morning, how often you wake from cramps, how steady your first steps feel after sleep. You don't need the muscles of your 20s. What you need is the quiet coordination that makes every movement feel reliable again. When the body is reminded through the right signals delivered through real food, it begins to recover in its own language. And sometimes, it only takes a handful of seeds, a little yogurt, or a leafy green at the right time to help it remember.